As of April of 2026, between 38 and 44% of all new music being uploaded to streaming platforms is fully AI generated. That's 75,000 songs a day, every day. And there's no sign that it's slowing down. This AI music is representative of only about 3% of all the music being streamed by actual human beings. So, is this a threat to artists? Is this a problem? Does any of this even matter? How far is too far enough for AI music? Certain points of contention that always crop up when talking about AI music are style cloning, how the AI was trained, deceptive marketing, and economic displacement, which is a nice way of saying stealing money from musicians, or fraud. That's another way of discussing it. So let's talk about these concerns for a bit. The most widely agreed upon line that AI crosses often is to clone an artist's voice or replace their distinct style without authorization. Deepfakes, which in the case of what we're going to look at is called fake Drake, and is now actually, this whole situation is often called the fake Drake scenario, is creating fake music that convincingly impersonates famous artists, in this case Drake and The Weeknd, with a song "Heart on My Sleeve." Let's listen to it for a moment. I don't want to listen to too much. I might get a copyright strike, but I'm not sure from whom. Maybe Drake, maybe The Weeknd, maybe this AI. I have no idea. Either way, you can tell that is very deceptive. Another similar use along the same vein is posthumous misuse. Using AI to generate new music from deceased artists violates the integrity of their legacy, a concern that has prompted some legislation. Here we're looking at the Elvis Act in Tennessee. In this case, and this is fantastic, Elvis is actually an acronym and it stands for Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Security, or Elvis. Wow, fantastic. The law was signed in March of 2024 and effective July 1st, 2024. It's a pioneering law protecting artists, songwriters, and performers from unauthorized AI-generated voice clones and deepfakes. It amends the existing Tennessee law that used to protect only likeness, but now includes voice. California is moving to pass legislation that protects performers from the use of digital replicas, closely collaborating with SAG-AFTRA and extending protection for deceased celebrities, names, images, and likenesses from AI exploitation. Other similar laws are on the horizon, including the proposed federal No Fakes Act, which seems self-explanatory. However, No Fakes is also an acronym, and it is awesome. No Fakes stands for Nurture Originals, Foster Art, and Keep Entertainment Safe, or No Fakes Act. Other upcoming legislation includes No AI Fraud, which is also an acronym, and it stands for No Artificial Intelligence, Fake Replicas, and Unauthorized Duplications, or No AI Fraud Act. These laws are designed to establish a federal right against unauthorized digital replicas of a person's voice or likenesses. As these are federal laws, they may take some time to pass as they are currently struggling with what some would call, allegedly, fascism and or Nazi problems. Depending on how this plays out, I'm either horrified or very proud of how our staunch conservative values and violence overwhelmed progress in the great or previously great nation. Let's see how that plays out. Moving on. While the federal government is struggling to move forward, Arkansas is blazing a new trail with HB 1071, the least interesting named law we've looked at today. Let's try to put a little effort into it and come up with our own acronym. We should call it Razorbacks Act. Replicas art, zero originals rights, but are clearly keeping safe act. We're going to need to workshop that, but make sure it's razorbacks when we're done. This law similarly focuses on protecting personal rights against unauthorized AI generated voice and likeness. It is an amendment of the law that used to protect likeness, but now includes voice. Another very common concern is exploitative training. Exploitative? Exploitative. I don't know. Let's see.
Exploitative.
Another area of concern is exploitative AI training. Ethical boundaries are crossed when AI uses copyrighted works to train itself without permission from the copyright holders. Stealing isn't innovation is a common phrase I've heard as I've been looking into this. And now, because of the pushback on this whole thing, AI models are using what they are referring to as a walled garden shift towards towards training their AI. This would mean moving forward that anything training their AI they would have permission to use, or it's free for public consumption. However, so much has already been ingested by these AIs. The damage is already done. They've essentially consumed all human knowledge up to this point. So having a walled garden now is like closing the barn door after the horses have eaten your children. Even if the garden is walled now, it's too late. The gophers have already burrowed into the yard. They've eaten the bugs and dug holes or whatever the hell gophers do when they allegedly sneak into your poorly walled garden. Presenting AI music as human made or failing to disclose the use of AI is considered unethical and deceptive marketing. Consumer deception is a concern, and brands using AI music in commercials instead of hiring local musicians, like in this Red Lobster case that we're about to look at, can provoke backlash from audiences seeking authentic emotional connection. I just used emotional connection in quotes. You can't see it, or maybe you can. Emotional connection. Because I find it hard to believe that these songs about biscuits are going to cause any problem. But here we're going to look at the Red Lobster situation. In April 2024, Red Lobster launched a marketing campaign titled Cheddar Bay Eye. Oof. All right. So at least they're not trying to hide their AI with their funny name. They used generative AI to create a collection of 30 music tracks dedicated to their iconic, again, I'm going to use that in quotes, Cheddar Bay biscuits. They sound delicious. Let's see how this sounds.
I said, "Gal, let me tell you about the little song real nice. Hit you with the flavor like a sprinkle of spice. When I'm hungry, looking for a tasty treat. Red Lobster's got the biscuits that can't be beat."
Red Lobster has the biscuits that can't be beat. Excellent. I don't think art is being threatened at all by this, but musicians were. These are commercials that normally would have been written by human beings, recorded, produced, sold. This is basically taken several jobs. Granted, no artist is going to be excited about writing about biscuits, but it's a living, right? This is part of the economic displacement that we mentioned earlier. Does it go too far when it siphons these jobs away from musicians, from film artists, and whatnot? I mean, in fact, what we can do is we can segue directly into actually siphoning money away from musicians. Essentially, when we started talking about this, almost half of all the new music being uploaded was all AI. And new musicians that previously were screaming into a void are now screaming into a very, very crowded area full of nonsense that is not clearly labeled AI. So while that is a problem, corporations are actually having a problem with it now because basically streaming fraud is occurring when you create a song using AI, you upload it, and then you have a bot farm listen to it. So it's robotic AI music being listened to by robots. And while that's kind of funny, it's actually costing money to these corporations, which means you can bet if you start taking money from the rich, something's going to change pretty quick. So, uh, when it adversely affects capital interests in large corporations, it is okay to call it fraud. You see, AI music is taking money from the same pool that artists would take it from, so it hurts them. Then the bots are listening to it, which are streams that would normally be listened to by humans. But since it's robots, it's sending false signals to the corporation, maybe suggesting, well, that stream is good. It's getting attention. You're going to want to invest more in whatever that is. But it's not getting attention. It's getting listened to by robots that aren't going to buy anything from you. So it hurts the artist. It hurts well, it doesn't hurt the listener because those are bots. So it hurts the artist and it hurts the corporation that is using that art to either monetize directly or indirectly. So where's the line? Where do we draw it? I know where I draw it. I use an AI mastering plugin every time I finish a song. So I do write the song myself. I write the lyrics myself. I perform the parts myself, even the drums. Although I'm using drum pads, it is an actual performance. Now I'm using the pads, which are going into some software, either Superior Drummer 3 or Extinction Level Event, depending upon what I'm doing. But I am playing the pads. So is that okay? Is that dehumanizing? Is that too much? Once I've written it, I record it and I play the instruments myself again, except for the drums where I'm playing pads. Still a performance. Once I'm done, I mix it. I try to do an okay job, but it is an actual human being mixing the song. However, I take it at that point and run it through an AI mastering process. So have I dehumanized my music? Is that too much? Should I have a mastering engineer do it? Once I use the AI mastering, it gets me about 90% there. Sure, I go in and I turn a couple of knobs and fool around a little bit. But ultimately, the AI mastering did the heavy lifting. So if I crossed a line, is that too much? What if I pulled drum loops into the song that I wrote? Now, I still wrote, say, the guitar lines, I wrote the melodies, I wrote the lyrics, but drum loops are pulled in, which means someone else played the drum line, someone else wrote a drum part that I liked and put into the song. Now, have I dehumanized it too far? What if I pull in some guitar loops, but I still wrote the lyrics? I still sang the song. Is that too far? I have no idea. We got to figure this out. Now, I've drawn the line at about AI mastering, but that's only because it's convenient for me. That fits my process. So, where is the line for you? Let's talk about it. Put it in the comments and let's see if we can get somewhere with this, because I think that this problem is going to get bigger before it gets any better. And talking about it now may help us along the way. Have a great day.